Hello Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Aries, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energies. With all that being said, Aries, let's get started. How does Aries currently view this relationship? All right, Aries, let's see what's going on. So we do have the Seven of Wands, we have the Eight of Cups, and then we also have the Seven of Pentacles. There's an overall energy of you wanting to walk away from something that does make you extremely unhappy. However, even though this entire situation you find yourself in may make you extremely unhappy, with the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles coming out here, you know, there's an overall energy of you still wanting to fight, to keep whatever this thing is that makes you extremely unhappy in your life. So this could be referring to like a friendship, possibly like a marriage, you know, maybe even a relationship or a situationship. It's also something that you invested a lot of time and energy towards as well. So the amount of time you've invested into this, you know, marriage, relationship, situationship, whatever have you, friendship, you know, you want it to essentially count for something as far as like the time you've invested into this entire situation. So, you know, I feel like that's one of the reasons, you know, why you're choosing to kind of like stay and put up a fight. You know, I am definitely getting that. That's definitely one of the reasons. Okay. So let's look at this person and see how they're currently viewing this relationship with you. How does this person currently view? You know, I'm also getting too that the reason why you could also be fighting to keep the very thing that it does unfortunately make you extremely unhappy in your life, also has a lot to do with the fact that you truly do feel like maybe, just maybe one day, right? Like things will get better. This marriage will start to make you happy again. This relationship will start to make you happy again. You just kind of have to, you know, hang in there. It's kind of what I'm getting for now. Okay. So we do have the Two of Cups, we do have the Six of Cups, and then we also have the Three of Wands out here. Okay. Okay. You know, in regards to how they're currently viewing this relationship with you, you know, this relationship, believe it or not, makes this person very, very happy. It brings a lot of like, you know, emotional satisfaction and fulfillment into their life. Like, I'm not really getting any sort of complaints. I'm not really getting any sort of complaints coming from this person whatsoever. Another thing too, this is somebody who can't quite picture or fathom, you know, their life without you. And then I'm also getting that as well. I mean, you are someone that they can see themselves being with, you know, long term. And that's what they want, is to essentially be with you long term, because they can't really picture or fathom their life without you. This person is very, very much so in love with you. I will definitely say that as well. Yeah, no complaints, you know, coming from this person as of right now. I'm not really getting any sort of complaints, you know, coming from this person. For whatever reason, this relationship does make you very, very unhappy. But even though it does make you very, very unhappy, I still see you having that fight, you know what I mean? Within you to try to make this, you know, relationship between the two of you work. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what it is about this relationship that makes you unhappy. Aries, but if it's one thing that I will say is that your person seems very, you know, happy and complete, you know, with you. I am getting that. How does Aries currently feel about this relationship? Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands, we got the Four of Pentacles, and then we also have the Eight of Pentacles out here. You could be dealing with a Virgo strongly, possibly a Capricorn, maybe even an Aries like yourself, or a Leo or a Sag. Doesn't necessarily have to be the case. This to me just kind of feels like two very conflicting energies here. Yeah, this just kind of feels like two very conflicting energies here, because with the Ace of Wands to the Eight of Pentacles, so Four of Pentacles coming out here. Let's just focus on the Four of Pentacles really quickly here. This is like an energy of you wanting to kind of like hold back, right? From trying to fix and repair things here between the two of you and make things better here, you know, between the two of you. Although these are things that you essentially want, as far as things, you know, working out between the two of you and improving here, you know, between the two of you. There's this energy of you essentially feeling like you have to kind of force yourself to not try to make this work anymore. So I'm kind of, you know, curious as to why you're harnessing this energy. So let's look at the Four of Pentacles. Tell me more about the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so The reason why there's this energy of you wanting to essentially hold back from trying to fix or repair things here with this person, make things better between you and this person, is because you're not really seeing a significant change here. In other words, you don't notice yourself becoming happier with this person. If anything, you notice yourself, just falling into like a massive state of depression, being with this person is basically what I'm gathering. So, with that being said, it kind of goes back to like what I said, Aries, where you find yourself fighting to keep someone in your life that just simply doesn't make you happy. And I feel like, there's reasons why you do it. I think that it has a lot to do with the time that you invested, which makes sense. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that, a lot of you are really hoping that eventually, things will change between the two of you. Eventually things will get better between the two of you. But I think that you're starting to kind of, realize that the more you sit around and wait for things to essentially get better, things are not, unfortunately, things just unfortunately, between the two of you are just simply not getting better. And it's causing you to feel like you're wasting your time continuing to try to fight to keep this person in your life. You're wasting your time sitting around waiting for this person to change, sitting around waiting for things to essentially improve between the two of you. And it has you essentially feeling like, like you are wasting, your time sitting around waiting for them to change, waiting for things to get better, waiting for this marriage to make you happy, waiting for this, relationship to make you happy, waiting for this dynamic that you share with this person to bring what you truly want and desire to have and experience, in your life. Okay. So that makes total sense, why you feel that way. Because if you're putting all this time and energy and effort towards improving things between the two of you and making things better between the two of you, and you don't really see anything changing, like, it makes sense as to why you feel like you're wasting your time. That makes sense. How does this person feel? How does this person feel? Okay, so we have the Five of Wands, we got the Nine of Pentacles, and then we also have the Knight of Wands. Okay. In regards to how this person, in regards to how this person's currently feeling, now it's starting to kind of turn into like the both of you kind of pointing the finger, I would say, at one another. I think that you blame this person for things, I think that you blame this person for the way things have been between the two of you as of lately. And it looks like to me that this person basically blames you for the way things between the two of you have essentially been as of lately, is what I'm gathering. It's just like a pointing, the two people pointing the finger at one another. Despite the fact that this person's kind of looking at you like you're the problem, and you're kind of looking at them like, they're the problem. Despite everything that the two of you find yourselves essentially going through within your relationship with one another, they still come off to me, as somebody who doesn't have any sort of intentions of going anywhere, is basically what I'm gathering. I do want to look at the Nine of Pentacles though. Like, even though they don't necessarily like certain things that they go through with you, it's just not enough to like warrant, this person to come in and end things with you, is basically what I'm gathering. Tell me more about the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. We have the Sun, we have the High Priestess, we have the Ace of Swords, we also have the Hierophant, and then we also have the Empress. I just kind of feel like when it comes down to them, they tend to kind of like look at the bigger picture. Like, they don't tend to just hyper focus on like, their issues that they experience within their marriage with you or their relationship with you. They tend to kind of like look at the bigger picture. And when they do that, as far as like looking at the bigger picture is concerned, this is what causes them to essentially feel like the issues that they do have with you aren't enough to like warrant a whole ending between the two of you, or divorce between the two of you, is basically what I'm gathering. And you might find yourself, Aries, like really, really focused on like all the bad that you find yourself essentially going through and experiencing with this person, to the point where you might find yourself forgetting about all the good that comes with this person and your marriage with them or your relationship with them. And, that's definitely a possibility. Sometimes I feel like it's really hard to focus on the positive when there's so much negative around, you know what I mean? Or negativity, I'm sorry, around is what I essentially meant to say. But I feel like even though they have like, their moments with you where they find themselves going through things they don't really want to go through with you, They tend to essentially remind themselves of all the good that comes with, being married to you or being in a relationship, with you. But you might, like I said, you might focus more on like all of the bad things that you find yourself going through. And the more you find yourself focusing on all the bad stuff that you go through, the more you're just like, oh my God, like I shouldn't continue to deal with this person or even be, married to this person still or in a relationship with this person still. Um, I guess it kind of boils down to like, you know, yeah, I think it kind of boils down to like, the power, I would say, of like, perception. When you hyper focus on all the negative that comes with this person, your marriage with them or your relationship with them, and you completely forget about the good that comes with this person, your relationship with this person, you're going to naturally start to look at your marriage or your relationship with this person as something that's just simply god awful, and something that you should essentially walk away from. But them, on the other hand, it's like they like to just kind of look at the bigger picture. Yeah, they have their issues with you. Yeah, they have their problems with you, but you're still somebody that they love. You're still somebody that, they want to continue to essentially spend the rest of their life with. Is basically what I'm gathering. Okay. Here's the thing though. I feel like the way that this relationship tends to essentially affect you is not the way that it tends to essentially affect them. I am definitely getting that's like the big difference though. Um, that's like the big difference here, between you and this person, is that this relationship for you affects you in certain ways that it doesn't essentially affect them. Because even though they have their issues and stuff like that, with you, they still come off to me as somebody who's extremely happy with you. But even though, like, yes, you have your issues with them, I'm sorry, but you do kind of come off to me as somebody who definitely is not happy here, with them. So that's kind of telling me the problems that you're going through with this person affects you 10 times more than it basically affects them. You know what I mean? Is basically what I'm gathering. Okay. What actions will Aries take towards this person or moving forward? All right, so you have the Four of Swords, you have the Four of Cups, and then we also have the Ace of Cups out here. In regards to how you plan on moving forward, with the Ace of Cups coming out here, the Ace of Cups is attached to the Ten of Cups, which basically speaks of, this, beautiful, healthy, stable, relationship. It's that happily ever after card. And we do have the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups does go directly to the, Ten of Cups. So it looks like that's what you've really been striving for here with this person, is to essentially be happy, within your marriage with them or your relationship with them. And a lot of things go on within your marriage and a relationship with them that makes you, feel extremely unhappy, within your marriage and a relationship with this person. Now, with all of that being said, these are still things that you want and desire to essentially have with them, is a happy and healthy and stable relationship, with them. With the Four of Cups coming out here, I am definitely getting that there's a big part of you that highly doubts that the two of you are going to end up having this happily ever after with one another. But then there's that other part of you that's like really, really hoping that one day, you'll be able to be happy with this person, and the two of you will be able to experience a healthy relationship, with this person. So I do still see you hanging on. Okay, I do still see you holding on to them and what you essentially share with them, but it is stemming from a place of, well, I hope things get better. I hope that eventually this marriage will make me happy. I hope that eventually this relationship will make me happy. Do you doubt that, it will? Yeah, but that's just kind of you just going based off of, what history has been essentially showing you, that, no matter how hard you try to make this work, it just continues to essentially make you unhappy. Therefore, you think that that's what's going to continue to essentially happen. But I just kind of feel like you're really hoping for like a miracle at this point, because I could tell how much you really want this dynamic between the two of you to work. But I gotta be honest, I feel like this marriage and a relationship has you very discouraged right now. It truly, yeah, it truly does. But I still see you holding on and keeping the faith nonetheless. What actions? All right, so we have the Five of Swords, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and then we also have the Knight of Pentacles. In regards to how this person plans on moving forward, I see this person honestly trying to essentially convince you that the reason why the two of you have the amount of problems that you guys do have is because of you. It's not because of them. It's like this person's placing all of the blame on you. And again, it's going back to the whole, like the two of you pointing the finger at one another. This person feels like they don't do any sort of wrong in this marriage and a relationship they share with you. According to the energy I'm seeing here, they feel like they don't really do any sort of wrong within their marriage and a relationship with you. Therefore, they essentially feel like the reason why, you know, things are the way that they are is because of you. It's not because of them, you know, it's just simply, you know, because of you. But in all fairness, I do feel like there are things that this person may do on their behalf that creates this level of unhappiness, you know, within you. Because when we look at the Ace of Cups and the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Cups, that's telling me that you've been fighting to have this happily ever after with them. But every time you try to fight to manifest and create this happily ever after with them, something would end up happening here between the two of you, causing you to feel like, well, I guess we're never going to have this happily ever after with one another. I guess I'm never going to be happy with this person. I guess I'm never going to be, you know, 100% emotionally satisfied within this relationship because of whatever reasons that you may have, or whatever it is that this person has been essentially putting you through. So it's not that you don't want this dynamic between the two of you to work. It's not that you don't want to essentially be happy with this person. There's just certain things that they do on their end that creates this level of unhappiness within you. But when we look at this person, their energy, we don't really see this person acknowledging any sort of like negative role that they've been essentially playing in your life. We don't really see them acknowledging that. What we do see this person doing is placing all of the blame on you. Well, you're the reason, you know, why this marriage is not working out or this relationship is not working out. It's not me, it's you. And I feel like this is kind of why you've probably found yourself going through the same old in this particular situation, because if this person can't see how they're hurting you, they're going to continue to hurt you. If this person can't see how their actions and their behavior are making you extremely unhappy, they're going to continue to do things that are going to make you extremely unhappy. But it does kind of start with them acknowledging, you know, the role, and it's a negative role, unfortunately, that this person essentially plays in your life. And this is why you feel the way that you feel. But if this person keeps telling themselves that, you know, it's not them, it truly is you, well, yeah, of course you're going to find yourself going through the same old, because if they can't acknowledge where, you know, they're going wrong and how their actions and their behavior make you feel at the end of the day, you know what I mean? They're just going to keep doing it. Like, this person needs to kind of see that there is something on their end that they're doing to make you extremely, you know, unhappy, whatever that may be, you know? And until that day comes, you're just going to find yourself caught up in a vicious cycle with this person. That's kind of what I'm getting. And that's the unfortunate part, because all it really takes is for this person to acknowledge, like, you know what? I really need to stop doing this because, you know, Aries doesn't like it and they don't deserve to go through this and they don't deserve to go through that. And it truly does make them, you know, extremely unhappy and, you know, things of that nature. And I just, you know, currently at the moment, I don't see them doing that, but I feel like that's all that it really takes is for them to understand and acknowledge the things that they do on their behalf make you extremely unhappy, you know, within this dynamic that the two of you share with one another. That's really all it takes. But until that day comes, I just kind of see you kind of going through the same old. With the Ace of Swords to the High Priestess to the Three of Cups, you know, to the Sun coming out here, you know, I feel like the unfortunate part too is that I feel like this person has conversations with, you know, other people about their marriage with you or their relationship with you. And I feel like people try to like highlight to them, you know, where they're essentially going wrong. And I just kind of feel like they're extremely convinced, if that makes any sense, that, you know, they're not the problem, you're the problem. But I feel like a lot of people, like in this person's life, like family members and friends, you know, they'll tell them like, hey, you know, you really shouldn't be doing this to Aries. And, you know, hey, like if you do this to me, I personally wouldn't like that. You know, like I feel like a lot of people try to like, you know, get this person to see like, yo, like, you know, maybe you should stop treating Aries like that. Maybe you should stop doing this. Maybe you should stop doing that. Because personally, I wouldn't like it. You know, if somebody did it to me. But I just kind of feel like this person is extremely convinced that, no, it's not me. It truly is, you know, Aries. And I feel like the more this person refuses to acknowledge the negative role that they play in your life, you know, the more unhappy you're going to start to essentially become, unfortunately, within this marriage and a relationship. that the two of you share with one another. And to be honest, doing all of these things don't really benefit them as far as not acknowledging the negative role that they play in your life is concerned. Because I could tell this person doesn't want to lose you, but they have to kind of understand that they're kind of putting themselves in that predicament to potentially lose you one day, because there's going to come a point in time where you're just going to accept the fact that no matter how much you try to make this work, how much you try to make it better, how much you try to explain to this person, like, hey, this thing you're doing over here, yeah, that really does hurt me. That really does make me unhappy. Like, you're going to repeat yourself, which I feel like you have been, repeating yourself to this person over and over again. But there's going to come a point in time where you're going to get tired of repeating yourself. There's going to come a point in time where you're going to get tired of being unhappy within this marriage and a relationship. And that might just prompt you to get up and walk away from them. But them being this way does them no favors. It's basically, what I'm trying to say, it does them no favors, because if they don't acknowledge, the things that they do on their end that are making you extremely unhappy, they could run the risk of losing you. Not saying that, I see this person losing you now, because I still see you choosing to hold on and hang in there in hopes that one day things will get better. But if they continue to do what they've been doing, it's just going to start that process of you checking out emotionally from the relationship, then mentally from the relationship. And then what's going to end up happening next is you leaving physically. And these are things that this person doesn't want to happen, mind you. But again, it's like they are unknowingly kind of putting themselves in that predicament to essentially lose you, in the end, by not acknowledging the role that they essentially play in your life in a very negative way, So I don't know, it's just something, that this person needs to kind of like, I guess think about, because I could tell that they don't want to lose you, but I could also tell that this person firmly believes that they are not, the problem here. It is, you according to them. But with the cards that are coming out here, that's kind of telling me that, yeah, there are certain things that they're doing on their behalf that are making you extremely unhappy, that you want them to kind of change and or stop doing. And until they stop doing X, Y, and Z, or change X, Y, and Z, you're just going to find yourself continue to feel the way that you feel. And it will start the process of you checking out emotionally. And it'll start the process of you checking out mentally, and then, physically. So they still have time, to turn this entire situation around. And it just starts, by them accepting the fact that there are certain things that they do on their end that really do hurt you and that really do affect you and really do make you extremely unhappy within this relationship. That's all that it really takes to turn the situation around for the better. All right. So that is what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated. And I will see you guys in your next reading.